If you thought that the economic news was crazy during the first half of 2022, just wait until we get to the second half. So many of the problems that we are experiencing now are going to continue to intensify, and Americans are becoming more pessimistic about economic conditions with each passing day. In fact, a whopping 85% of us believe that it is very likely, or somewhat likely, that the economy will go through a recession at some point during the next year. Of course, the truth is that if all we have to suffer through is a recession, we would be extremely fortunate. Our leaders have lost control of the economy, and many of us are extremely concerned about what is coming next. The following are 12 nightmarish economic trends that we should expect to see during the second half of 2022. Number 1. Gas prices will continue to surge higher, and many Americans will be shocked by how high they eventually go. If you can believe it, in Washington state, at least one gas station has now reprogrammed their gas pumps to make room for double-digit pricing. Supplies of fuel will continue to get even tighter in the months ahead. In the middle of the country, some are saying that diesel is now being rationed where they live. Number 2. We are being warned that there could be extended blackouts in some parts of the nation during the summer months. It is being reported that the middle of the country is particularly at risk. About 100 million Americans face power blackouts this summer as roasting weather, overstretched power plants, and unreliable green energy sources combine to create a perfect storm of problems. States stretching from the Great Lakes to the Pacific Ocean, which are home to tens of millions of Americans, could have a hard time producing enough power for their residents this summer. The MISO, part of America's power grid, whose full name is the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, is at greatest risk of a large-scale outage. Number 3. Everyone pretty much agrees that food prices will continue to rise. Of course, they have already reached levels that are absolutely insane. Number 4. As our supply chains endure even more stress, shortages will continue to intensify. The extreme baby formula shortage that we are witnessing right now is just a preview of coming attractions. Number 5. The UN is telling us that we are heading into the worst global food crisis since World War II. In some parts of Africa, the number of people suffering from extreme hunger has already more than doubled. More than 23 million people are experiencing extreme hunger in Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya, according to a new report by Oxfam and Save the Children. That's up from over 10 million last year. The region's worst drought in 40 years is being exacerbated by conflict and the pandemic. And the war in Ukraine has sent food prices soaring to record levels. Number 6. Widespread hunger will almost certainly lead to more civil unrest. Recent events in Sri Lanka give us an indication of what may be coming. Protesters in Sri Lanka have burned down homes belonging to 38 politicians as the crisis-hit country plunged further into chaos, with the government ordering troops to shoot on sight. Police in the island nation said Tuesday that in addition to the destroyed homes, 75 others have been damaged as angry Sri Lankans continue to defy a nationwide curfew to protest against what they say is the government's mishandling of the country's worst economic crisis since 1948. Number 7. The Federal Reserve is likely to continue to aggressively raise interest rates. In fact, Fed Chair Powell is openly admitting that his institution's battle against inflation could cause some pain in the months ahead. Federal Reserve Chairman Powell warned Tuesday the U.S. could feel some pain as the central bank raises interest rates to fight inflation, insisting the Fed would do whatever it takes to curb price growth. During a live interview for the Wall Street Journal's Future of Everything Summit, Powell said the Fed will continue to raise interest rates until inflation starts to fall and the forces driving prices higher fade, even at the risk of a deeper economic slowdown. Number 8. Higher interest rates will be devastating for the housing market in the United States. And that is very troubling news, because home sales have already fallen for 3 months in a row. Home sales fell for the third consecutive month in April as rising mortgage rates and affordability challenges push many would-be home buyers out of the market. Number 9. Defaults are likely to continue to rise higher, just like we saw right before the last financial crisis. Defaults on subprime loans are really starting to surge. Consumers with low credit scores are falling behind on payments for car loans, personal loans, and credit cards, a sign that the healthiest consumer lending environment on record in the U.S. is coming to an end. The share of subprime credit cards and personal loans that are at least 60 days late is rising faster than normal, according to credit reporting firm Equifax. In March, those delinquencies rose month over month for the 8th time in a row, nearing their pre-pandemic levels. Delinquencies on subprime car loans and leases hit an all-time high in February, based on Equifax's tracking that goes back to 2007. Number 10. As the economy slows down, we should expect layoffs to increase and jobless claims will eventually start to spike. In fact, we just learned that they have now hit a 4-month high. Number 11. Needless to say, all of this bad economic news is going to be really bad for stock prices. The S&P 500 has already nearly fallen into bear market territory, and many believe that what we have witnessed so far is just the beginning. Number 12. Many are warning that a recession is either already here or will arrive soon, and Americans are increasingly becoming more pessimistic about the economy. One survey that was recently conducted found that 85% of Americans believe that it is very likely or somewhat likely that there will be a recession at some point in the next year. Of those who responded, 45% said it is very likely, and 40% said somewhat likely for a recession. The sort of historic economic meltdown that has been warned about for years is rapidly approaching, and the mood of the nation will dramatically shift as conditions greatly deteriorate. Most Americans are working as hard as they can, but our standard of living is being systematically destroyed by the very foolish policies of our leaders. Unfortunately, we are still only in the very early chapters of this crisis. It looks like the second half of this year will be even more challenging than the first half, and that is going to have enormous implications for all of us. About the economic collapse blog author. His name is Michael, and his brand new book entitled 7-Year Apocalypse is now available on Amazon.com. In addition to his new book, he has written 5 other books that are available on Amazon.com, including Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, Get Prepared Now, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that Michael is doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending digital copies as gifts through Amazon to family and friends. Time is short, and Michael needs help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. Michael published thousands of articles on the economic collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the most important news, and the articles that he publishes on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. Michael always freely and happily allows others to republish his articles on their own websites, but he also asks that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. Michael encourages you to follow him on social media on Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is a great help. These are such troubled times, and people need hope today. If you're new to this channel, there are a variety of videos about different subjects: canned meat taste test, inflation warnings, what foods to stockpile, other items to stockpile. Check those videos out. If you're still watching, that's awesome. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy prepper shopping.